Hi, I'm Dave. These are books. The complete title of this book is Warrior Soul, the Memoir of a Navy SEAL. The author is Chuck Pfarrer. It was published in 2004. There's a picture of the author who had an 8-year career as a Navy SEAL during the 1980s and has been the screenwriter for a number of motion pictures. His impressions of SEAL duty in Latin America, Beirut, and involving the Achille Laura hijacking were really something. This is a book of stories. Reading it is just like sitting around with some friends telling stories, except that Chuck Pfarrer's stories are better than yours or mine. Having myself spent during this same general time frame 20 years in the Navy, including 2 tours with the Marines, it was music to my ears, reading of conversations among these warriors. Mr. Pfarrer's descriptions of the U.S. Marines are spot on, as are his observations about the Israeli Defense Forces. The author's descriptions of Beirut, Lebanon, carried a very familiar ring to me. Mr. Pfarrer details the standard operating procedure followed by the Marines on patrol in Beirut, as reminding him more of a parade than of an operational force, saying, quote, "I always had the feeling that the patrols were the bait and we were the hammer," unquote. Which expresses my sentiments exactly regarding my situation in Saudi Arabia, except that there, I was the bait. Not a good feeling. On the other hand, Mr. Pfarrer describes replacing a measured military response with a chilling tactic known as collective punishment. Here are a few of my favorite quotes from Warrior Soul. Quote, "Landing was inevitable. Landing at this speed with no steering would not be pleasant." Quote, "My dad just smiled." Quote, "As you might imagine, young men are not sent to military schools because they have comported themselves like model citizens." Quote, "I remember it as the kind of place you could hate every day and miss for the rest of your life." Quote, "Marines have a great affinity for spit and polish. SEALs do not." Quote, "With the exception of my great-grandfather, who emigrated from Switzerland in 1900, quote, I did not always love well, and that was the greatest failing of all. Quote, SEALs don't charge machine gun nests. That's what the Marine Corps is for." Quote, "To be honest, to this day I have no goddamn idea what the United States of America was doing in Lebanon." Quote, "My dad sent me long missives telling me to be careful, take care of my feet, and not to be afraid to call BS on stupid orders. Sage advice that served me well." Quote, "The Israelis got even right away." Quote, "Whatever we did to them, it would never be enough." Quote, "They were fat, dumb, and happy. The happy part would soon be over." Quote, "There were 2 kinds of Navy SEAL, the kind who could do anything and the kind who couldn't do anything else." The author has a flair for the dramatic understatement, which makes for pleasant and entertaining reading. I read a previous book by Mr. Pfarrer, which made me want to read more of his writing. It's not so much the blood and guts, but rather the pleasant writing style mixed with intelligent insights which drew me to this book. And those are the things which justify my recommending this book to you. Once again, the title is Warrior Soul, the Memoir of a Navy SEAL. The author is Chuck Pfarrer. It was published in 2004. There's the author 30-some years ago. I enjoyed it very much. I recommend it. I'm Dave. These are books.